If you want to build shirt-busting biceps using your tonal, then you're in luck, because in today's edition of Tonal Hacks, I'm going to show you a variation on the standing barbell bicep curl that's going to blow your mind, that's going to give you bigger, stronger pumps and bigger biceps than ever before. I'm Coach Jackson. I'm one of the original coaches on Tonal, worked there for 5 years, have written many of some of the most popular programs on Tonal, like the Go Big, Go Home trilogy and 4 Weeks to Fat Loss. And I've also coached over 400 private clients on this machine right here, so I know a thing or two about how to do a thing or two. So let's dive in and let me show you the original version of the standing barbell bicep curl, and then we'll get into the good stuff, the hacks and the tricks and the tweaks and the adjustments that you can make at home today in order to build shirt-busting biceps like Taylor and Swift here. And if you're not familiar, yes, I named my biceps because that's just the kind of guy I am. I would highly recommend you name yours at home, but sorry, Taylor and Swift are already taken. You might have to come up with something else. I don't know, Turner Hooch, whatever works for you. So let's get into the standard version. I'm gonna grab the barbell. I'm standing here. I'm facing the tonal. I'm engrossed in this audio-visual experience. It's amazing. I'm looking at coaches like Coach Jackson and Coach Liz and Francis and Nicolette and all the amazing trainers. And I'm just getting totally engrossed and entertained while I'm working out. And that's fantastic. But the problem is that when I'm doing my barbell bicep curls like this, in this position, there's not a lot of additional tension at the bottom of the move, as you can see. As I go up, I get a lot of tension, max tension, in fact, right here at this 90-degree point. But when I get down here, there's no additional tension. This is very easy. I could stand like this all day. Sure, it works my forearms, but I'm not really getting much work done on my biceps. So what can we do about that? How do we make this exercise a little bit better or more challenging so that we could build more muscle and we could do it faster? If you don't know my story, I studied computer science in college, took a lot of math classes, advanced math, discrete math, and of course, geometry. And I never forgot my geometry lessons because we can apply those here to our tonal. We can apply those to the gym, any cable machine really. And what we're really trying to do is we're looking at the angles of the cable in relation to our arm. And we're gonna use those angles in context, knowing that the eccentric or the negative portion of the rep is more important than the concentric or the positive portion. Just a little backstory here, any single rep you could break down into two different parts, the concentric or the shortening of the muscle and the eccentric or the lengthening of the muscle. So if we shorten the bicep here, as when we go up, this is the positive portion, this is the concentric portion of the rep. When I lengthen my bicep, when I go down, that is the negative or the eccentric portion of the rep. So those are the two different portions of any rep that you do, shortening and lengthening. That's all muscle building really is shortening and lengthening muscles. Knowing that and knowing the geometry that we do and knowing how important the eccentric or the negative portion is, you're stronger during the eccentric portion of the rep. You could also build more muscle by focusing on that because that's load under stretch, that's stretched load. You're gonna build more muscle faster by focusing on the eccentric than you will by focusing on the concentric. That's why this machine has things like eccentric mode built in, so you can build more muscle faster. But again, we could also take advantage of geometry here. What I'm gonna do is instead of facing the tonal, instead of standing here in this position, where my arms have zero resistance at the bottom of the movement, I can move around a little bit, change up the angle, and get a better pump and also build more muscle. And what I'm gonna do is instead I'm gonna face away from tonal. Now, the one downside is I'm not gonna be entertained with the likes of moi, myself, Coach Jackson on the screen. So I'm not gonna be as entertained, but I'm going to bypass the visual stimulation for muscular pumps that are huge and mind-blowing. So that's the benefit. So facing away from tonal, now I'm gonna pick up the bar. I'm gonna take 1 or 2 steps forward, as you can see. Now look at the angle of the cable in relation to my arm. Now it's pulling me back into this stretch position. So I'm getting resistance at the bottom of the rep where it matters most in that stretched position. That's gonna help, again, build more muscle faster by focusing on that. And if you do that, and you also add an eccentric mode here, that is gonna be dynamite. That's gonna be powerful. That's gonna be nuclear for your biceps. So I highly recommend it. Now, as far as your feet placement, I'd recommend parallel stance. You can go split stance here, but then you're gonna shorten your range of motion because the bar is gonna hit your front leg. So I go parallel stance. You're gonna probably have to lower the weight a little bit from what you currently do. to this, that's okay. A little bit less weight means less risk of injury, but again, less weight means we could focus more on technique, and we could also focus more on that eccentric loading for sure. In position here, I walk a couple steps out. I'm gonna lean ever so slightly forward just to balance a little bit. I turn that weight on. I feel that resistance. Now I curl, and boy, that resistance at the bottom is killer. Control, control, control on the way down. And I'm pushing my elbows forward on the way down as well, trying to get that full stretch. I'm gonna do 2 more reps because it is hot in Orange County today and I'm sweating. Last one. Control, control, control. Look at that resistance at the bottom. Unbelievable. Now, as you can see, just by switching up my positioning in relation to the tonal in the arms, I'm able to get significantly more resistance on the eccentric or the negative portion of the rep. I could combine that with eccentric mode here on the tonal and get a mind-blowing pump that's just far better than anything you're gonna get standing facing the tonal. That's today's tonal hack. Take the barbell bicep curl, instead of facing the tonal, step inside, face away, pick up the bar, walk 2 steps out, get in a position. And the great thing about this tonal hack compared to some of the other ones that we have is that this one requires no additional attachments, no additional setup. We don't have to change the arms. We don't have to do any of that stuff. All we have to do is just walk out a few steps and we're good as gold. So that's today's tonal hack. Check out more in the Tonal Hacks series. Remember, I'm Coach Jackson. Action is the difference between dreaming and succeeding.